You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is 5:40 on Sunday night. Welcome to another episode of the Two Scotch Funk Worldwide Lounge. It is a beautiful Sunday night. Had a great day, had a great weekend, and I have currently a screaming headache, so this is going to be a short one. Now, before we get too far into this thing, I'm going to crack a limoncello naturally essenced sparkling water. I gotta tell you the brand because they're not paying me to say it yet. We'll get there though. I used to drink the passion fruit essenced sparkling water because I don't want my water to be just flavored. I want it to have the full essence. So there we go. And it's delicious. It's got a little bit of a vanilla flavor to it too. And it's really good. So something is different. Something's changed. And I don't know what it is, and I'm not going to jinx it, and I'm not going to get too crazy and full of myself about it, but something has changed with this podcast, and the numbers are crazy. And I wonder if it's because maybe we're not talking about recovery and addiction and all the other stuff that's heavy. We switched to a much lighter topic called grief, so I can see that as an easy transition. I honestly don't know what it is, but I'm thankful for it. Thankful for all of you folks that listen. You may have noticed that we turned on the commercials, and I'm going to work on refining those as best I can. Get rid of the political bullshit and all the other stuff that I can. But what that does is helps offset the cost of this pursuit, because it is expensive. It's $20 a month for the hosting platform, $28 for the new and exciting platform that I just bought to do remote call-in so we can have guests. Isn't that exciting? Not just listen to me, but you get to listen to important people that have great ideas and things to share. So that's another expense. So $50 a month. Yeah, it's not a fortune, but it's expensive. And if this can help defray it, I'd appreciate your help with that. So by just listening to the commercials, that helps a bunch. One of the things I'm famous for is finding something that really works well and is easy to replicate, easy to continue, watch the success and build on that. And then once it's really refined and perfected, I quit doing it that way and find a completely different way. And I mess it up every time. So I'm going to mess it up tonight. And we're not going to talk about grief or recovery. None of that stuff. Not one bit. Tonight we're going to talk about realization. Self-realization, situational realization, that type of thing. And again, with the screaming headache and the headphones tightly snugged up against my bowling ball-sized head, this won't be long, but I am narrowing life down to two types of situations. One that I can control, one that I cannot control. There's realization on both sides. I just realized that I have to separate these things in my mind. Otherwise, I set myself up for failure. Example, I was supposed to move into my new house in May. It is damn near September. Not there yet. We're getting closer all the time now. Of course we're getting closer. The only way to get further would be to bulldoze the son of a bitch and start over. But we're not going to do that. We're going to finish. Flooring's in, cabinets are in, appliances will be in next week, tile. I can't control it. This is a situation I have zero control over. I can influence it maybe a little bit by being a giant a-hole, but that's not who I am. I don't like it. As a project manager, you really want things just to go as planned, and I didn't have much control over this one. So next one, I will be more involved. But I can't control it. It's frustrating as hell. The summer was lost, basically, because of it. And I did spend some time in self-pity, eating far too much sugar as my compensation mechanism. But it's a realized flaw. It's a realized characteristic of my own bad wiring. I think that's somewhere the alcoholism came from, even though we're not talking about that sugar fix. I love sugar. I would be the world's fattest hummingbird by millions of percentages if I could, but I can't. Bad for you. Sugar is bad for you. It's a nice treat. Unfortunately, it's not the kind of treat where I can just have one and say, that'll be fine for this week. Nope. So what I have to do is look in the mirror and ask myself, and I have to do it out loud, otherwise it doesn't sink in through my thick skull. I have to ask myself, how pissed off am I going to be about that house today? How much time am I going to dedicate to being angry about something I have zero influence on? Everybody knows they're behind. Some are working harder than others and getting caught up, but I have to say that. How pissed off am I going to be today about the house? How much time am I going to dedicate to being angry about something I can't influence? Pretty straightforward. It's an easy question. Easy to answer today because the cabinets are in. When there was nothing happening, I had to literally tell myself I was going to spend some time being angry about it. Acknowledge the fact that it was wasted time, but not care, not be able to move through it at that point. And that's okay. That's where we screw up. We say, okay, here's my mechanism. I'm going to look in the mirror and say, how pissed off am I going to be? 20 minutes. That's not good. You can't be mad about something you have no control over. Yeah, you can. It's okay. It's human nature. Be pissed off. Don't dwell on it. Don't spend too much time on it. Feel the emotion. That's what it's there for. Feel it and then get on with it. One of the things I think we fail in is trying to overanalyze ourselves and over-perfect ourselves and be overly shiny. And it's not fair. We're setting ourselves up for failure by saying, you know what? I know logically it's ridiculous to be mad about something I can't influence. Logically, you're 100% correct. Emotionally, sometimes that just overrules logic. None of us are Spock that I'm aware of. Success for me is being able to say, okay, I know this is going to come up somewhere during the day. I'm going to be upset about this thing. I want to focus on it. This thing is going to upset me. That pep talk or that discussion I have with myself in the mirror lets me go back and say, okay, we talked about this, Derek. We talked about this morning, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can be pissed. You're pissed. You're done being pissed. Move on. I think my methodology is fairly straightforward. I don't know what a professional psychoanalyst, psychiatrist, psychologist, counselor, cop. I suppose it depends on the situation, how pissed and how long and how high the level of anger reached for the officer. And I'm sure the counselor would say, let's see you in 2 weeks and we'll talk about it again forever. What my simplistic method allows me to do is have the discussion, realize we already talked about this. It's kind of a thing I went with mom and dad on when I was a kid. You know, hey, you messed up again. We talked about this. I'm using the mom and dad method on myself. Hey, we talked about this. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be disappointed. All these things. It's okay to be a human being. But now let's just sprinkle some logic on top of that ball of emotion. See how we do, okay? And be kind to yourself. We are our own worst critics. We're hard on ourselves. We are brutal to ourselves sometimes. Be kind to yourself. That's all I'm asking. Be kind to yourself. Remember in the beginning when I said I had a headache and this was going to be a really short one? We haven't even touched the other half of this thing yet, which is realization of the situations you do have influence over and how to affect those and how to conduct yourself in there. So I am going to wrap this up for tonight. That'll be the next episode. How do we deal with situations? How do we realize? See that realization word? How do we realize the situations we do have control over? And what do we do with them? Can we still do the pep talk in the morning? You bet. That's a very big thing. I'll wrap this up by saying thank you. Thank you for your support. Thanks for listening. Thanks for all the cool comments and the follows and the likes. That helps a ton. You have no idea. So I'm going to ask a favor. I've already said thank you. That's the most important thing. But I'm going to ask a favor. So tomorrow morning, when you're getting ready for your day, look in the mirror, have the conversation with yourself. Ask yourself whatever's been on your mind. If it's something important that you haven't really gotten to or you need to get to, but you're putting it off, give it that importance. Have that conversation. Tell yourself how important that is and get after it. If it's something that's been chewing on you or taking up too much headspace, make it less important. Take away its priority. Take away its power. Have that conversation with yourself. Say, hey, self, today's going to be that day. I am not going to let this affect my day, my performance, my whatever. Have that conversation with yourself. It's going to feel silly looking at yourself in the mirror and talking to yourself out loud. I live alone, so it's not a real big impact on the people that are with me because there are none. You may have family that's like, why is Dad talking to himself in the bathroom? And you can say it's a new thing. Don't worry about it, kids. He's not losing it. Not just yet, but you better do your homework or he will. No, I'm just kidding. Please, please, please do not say that and definitely don't mean it. Have the conversation. Give it a start. Practice makes perfect, and it makes it easier too. And maybe it'll work. And what I'd like to have you do, it is, August 25th? Maybe in a couple weeks, 2 Sundays from now, let's talk about it again. Because that'll give us a chance to talk about the other topic, the situations we can control, and our influence in those, how we talk to ourselves about that. But in 2 weeks, let's reconvene on this topic and say, here's what I found after practicing for 2 weeks. Derek, it was a horrible idea. My family thinks I'm nuts. Or, hey, that really actually did do some good. Thank you for that. So let's figure it out together. We'll do it. All right, that's enough. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Have a great start to your week. And I look forward to hearing from you also. Thanks again. Have a great night.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.